Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations. Where's the bus been, right? I know that the last time I made a video was like 6 or 7 months ago now, and you probably thought that I gave up on it. And you're half right. My wallet gave up on it. We ran out of money for the project. This has been way over budget, but that's all bus projects really. Anyway, today we're getting back on it, and we're starting with this. Here's one of the 2 reasons that it went over budget. The gas tank. It was in good shape, we thought, but taking a look with a borescope down in the hole here, well, a lot of rust, a lot of gunk, a lot of stuff I didn't want to see. Ended up saying, okay, let's get rid of that. We got a new gas tank, which I'll show you here in a second. And when I went ahead and got that gas tank, I decided that I would go ahead and get one that was for fuel injection. The tank is nearly the same. However, the fuel injection units used a different fuel sender. So after waiting weeks for the fuel tank to show up, I realized I still needed to order a fuel sender, more money, more time. That has arrived. Now we're ready to get back on it. And I'll be honest, a lot going on, a lot to do. Every hose inside was dry rotted, and when I get the camera off the tripod, you'll see what I mean. But we finally have it all. I've installed a brand new fuel gauge that matches the fuel tank that I got. I've got my fuel lines, or the fuel injected fuel lines, a return and a sender set up and ready to go in, and it's time, it's time. I've also got the main filler neck hose. Another thing, that when I got the tank out, it's so rotted out, if we were trying to put gas in that thing, it would have leaked everywhere. So a car, if I was gonna make a recommendation, I do a lot of restorations here. I know I don't show you 99% of what I do here on site, but if I was going to do a project like this again, a car that had been off the road for a few years, 3, 4, 5, is going to be a whole lot better starting point, no matter how ugly it is, than something like this. The last time this car was on the road was 1986, 96, 2006. I mean, we're talking about a car that has now been off the road almost 30 years, 28 years this thing hasn't been on the road. When a car sits that long, you can pretty much count on every piece needing to be replaced. Where if a car is driven, those pieces get replaced along the way. All right, let me get the tripod, or the camera off the tripod, take a look inside here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about and what we're gonna be doing today. All right, here we go. And I'm sorry if there's a lot of background noise today. Metal roof and a really heavy rainstorm coming in. It's one of the reasons that I'm out here working today and just enjoying myself on my own car for a while instead of everybody else's, which is usually the case. New gas tank, brand new fuel sender, correct wiring for this year model. That's a ground. That plugs into the harness. Now I've got these capped off. You can see 1, 2, and 3 over here, and I've taped off the main line. That's just so nothing moved in between me unboxing this and me using it. Let me go ahead and turn this little light on here. I like this actually. This is a really good light. Okay. And so you can see inside here, this is what we got going on. Not a terribly rusty place, not a terribly ugly place, but we do have some work to do. So those are the vent lines, those 2 brass pieces there. Those are the vent lines that equalize the fuel tank. And we're gonna be doing some work on that as well. Hopefully I have the right size lines for that, or I'll be stuck once again. And over here, when I get in here closer in, matter of fact, I'll crawl up under here right now. Hopefully you can see this fuel line. Now let me go ahead and pull it off here. You'll see I've already got the clamps loosened up. Here's our main tank, line coming in, and you can see the cracks in that when I squeeze it completely, and it's that way the whole way around it. So we're getting rid of that. I've got a new line right here that I picked up. More money, but you don't want to have a fuel leak with this thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and slide that into place. Hey, look at that, I actually did that one-handed. That's not too bad. All right, so that's where we're at. This side, of course, goes on to the fuel tank itself. And we do have some other lines here. Here's a line. Here's a line up here. And here's a line here. This one completely detached. I got to figure out where that one went. I can't remember. It's been a while since I got on this project. So, all right, let me squeeze this tank in. I'm going to put it in here. That hose already is okay, if I recall. Yes. That's your main line up there. That one is not leaking. And that one, I do have, that's our center line. It comes down from right up here and that's split. You can see that one's damaged too, so I need a 90 to go there. So I doubt I'll be wrapping it up. So the reason the engine hasn't gone in is that everything I touch is rotted out. So that's where we're at. Give me a second. I'm going to put the gas tank in. We'll take a look. Just a tight fit, that's all. That's one of the more unusual pictures. All right, let me try it from this angle instead. So here we are with the strapping here. I've got to kind of get this up and out of the way when we go to put this in. And now it's just a matter of just fighting it because, you know, they give you a little bit of room, but not a ton. Not a ton. Let's do it. There we go. And with a little luck, sliding this thing into place. Got to get these straps. Hole's quite a ways back. There we go. That's a little sketchy, isn't it? It sounds scary, but I assure you, that's the correct way to go about doing it. Okay. So, once we have that all laid in there, strapping is going to go back through here, but I still have to hook up the line here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, hopefully you can see that, but that needs to be squished back on there, and then I'll tighten those two lines down. Once I've got that, we'll worry about our straps, which are not quite in the right position. And then I've got my lines here, and we'll have to set all that up there. So that's not too big a deal, but big enough. I see now where this goes. So this piece here goes to, what? This piece here, this line goes into that one. And you can see the hose right there comes off, comes across and goes to this one here. We're just in a tight spot here, so but all that will be back into place, and we'll put our firewall back in here. That's the piece that goes right here, and then we're moving along fairly quickly. Let's do it. All right, well, it's in. You can see there clamped off, and maybe you can see that one clamped off. I've got some new lines here connecting the transfer pipes, but we have another problem. Always a problem when you're trying to restore something and modify it at the same time. This old 72 had a much larger vent line there than the 75, I think it is, and up, fuel injected engine, 76 and up. So I have got to figure out, not only do I need an elbow here, but I have to have an elbow with a reducer. I don't have that here. I have looked through my stuff. I do have a lot of elbows and weird stuff. I hang on to everything random. But other than that, she's installed, so I'm kind of at a stopping point for today on this particular part. And let's see what else we can do. Let me wrap this thing up with you. And that pretty much sums up today's episode. As you can tell, the saga of the bus is one that's going to take a long time to cure. Every time I get into it, I have to order something. I am an hour and a half round trip to the nearest parts store. That ain't happening. And parts stores don't carry parts for 72 buses. So every little time that something stops me, it's weeks. I guess that'll do it for today, my friends. I will see you next time. Take care.